And welcome back, everybody. It is The Rant. Kate McFarland here. Big Al Jerkins there. Have we destroyed all the evidence, all the tapes from last week when we were, I don't know, on a scale of 1 to 10 at about an 11 with regard to our Bedlam teams and the eventual Bedlam matchup?
Yeah, this always slays me, and I know this is why people get mad at the media sometimes. We sit there and we say, you know, we blame the kids for not taking games seriously. Yet we come out here and I basically said, OU's got a bye week.
We said it was a bye week.
So
it wasn't a bye week.
We get on the players and coaches for not taking games seriously enough or one at a time.
Yeah.
But heaven forbid that we do.
Oh, we didn't do it. No, we didn't.
So, no, we get carried away just like the players do about their own self-worth.
That's right. We overvalue teams and undervalue teams all the time. Oklahoma State goes down to TCU. I mean, in some ways, there's no shame in that. I mean, TCU's a really good ball club with a really great coach who was 16. Probably due. You know, Mike Gundy was 4-1 against Gary Patterson. I don't think he has that kind of lopsided record against very many other coaches. Patterson coached his butt off, and his team played their butt off. And you could just tell from the very start, this thing is going according to script for the Horned Frogs.
This is the kind of game that Patterson salivates before a game. He's the king at doing the unappreciated, no-respect thing.
He's great.
He must have grown up in Dangerfield, Texas, or something like that, because he's always playing the no-respect card, and that's his biggest weapon. When he is like he's like a little rat in the corner. That's going to fight his way out of it, and I'm going to show you who's better.
They did everything right, and they got some breaks.
Don't underestimate us.
That's right. They got some breaks, and that was part of it. You could just tell OSU didn't really have the greatest of plans, and the execution wasn't great early. And then, you know, when TCU fumbled twice, they recovered. OSU fumbles right there, TCU recovers. The bounces were going their way. But, I mean, you probably still agree Oklahoma State's got the better team, I think. I mean, it's hard to say that now, give TCU credit. But, I mean, if they line up and play 10 times, I'm going to take OSU most of the time.
I'm not.
Really?
I'm not. No.
Tell me why.
Because TCU showed a toughness yesterday.
Yeah, you're right.
That
Grit
OSU
matters.
did not, especially on defense, especially when they need – perfect example. OSU scores to make it a close game. TCU immediately goes downfield and scores a touchdown themselves.
Toughness, sure.
Now, you know, when you start hearing, well, you know, we missed 2 offensive linemen. Well, you know, offensive linemen don't tackle on defense.
No, that's true.
Look at this stuff. No, I would not say that at all. In fact, just because the team was ranked 6 and 16 doesn't necessarily mean there's that big of a separation between the teams.
Let me explain where I'm coming from, but I will first admit that the evidence at the moment supports what you're saying. I think that this OSU team has more grit than they showed yesterday. Does that make sense? You only play your very best 3 or 4 times a year, and OSU clearly didn't bring their very best yesterday. It was needed.
This was a Big 12 opener, and they make bonehead calls like that.
Well,
they played
there is no excusing that. I mean, let's go ahead and talk about that play. Mike Yursich, they're at about the 22-yard line, and he dials up the lateral to Jalen McCleskey, who throws the interception at the 5.
Another example.
They score there, and I think OSU, maybe better than 50-50.
To get the ball back with 2 minutes left, and they let this happen.
Sure. Things you cannot do if you're going to be a Big 12 champion, definitely things you can't do if you're going to make the college football playoff. At this point, they would have to win out to have any shot. They shouldn't even be thinking about that. I don't think their fan base is even thinking about it very much. You know, one thing I was struck by, I know this doesn't, I'm not speaking for everybody there, but man, there were a lot of OSU fans I talked to who almost expected this. They almost expect every year
that they'll
be, that our defense is just always going to be average, if you will. And by the way, I thought the defense should have been much better than it was yesterday. I don't know when they'll ever get over the hump.
I was highly disappointed by all phases of OSU's game yesterday.
Yeah.
All phases. And you can, there are some excuses, some mistakes. That replay touchdown for TCU was an absolute joke. I don't know, is there the lighting bad in the replay booth at Stillwater? Are these guys eating too many cookies at halftime? There's something, there is no way they could miss that. There was space between the football and the goal line. Okay. It's not that tough. They showed it over and over and over again, and they made a mistake. Watch the monitor, will you please? There's no sense in having a replay if you are going to get it wrong.
The best way to get Big Al to rant is broach the subject of Big 12 replay officials. Right. That'll always get the blood pressure going. Last thing on OSU, better chance this team finishes 11-1 or something like 8-4.
Well,
9-3 would have been the easy one.
Are they as good as what they were against Pittsburgh? Probably not. Are they as bad as the loss to TCU? Exactly. Probably not. So if you take the combination of that, I think there's another loss or two within the conference schedule.
The 2 offensive linemen down was part of what kind of conspired against them that week. I thought, here's the reason I was so high on these guys.
Come up with a game plan to.
You're right. Here, I was so high on these guys because I thought I saw in Mason Rudolph, I thought he had taken leadership to the next level, and I thought that was going to permeate, and I thought that this was just a team on a mission, and they were going to overcome days like this when the breaks are going against you, and they didn't quite do it yesterday. Not saying they can't bounce back and have a fabulous season, but I did overestimate them a little. That's why we're burning the tapes.
I got to tell you, though, this weekend, football-wise, put me in such a horrible mood because of what's going on across the country. And I'm not going to get political here.
Okay.
But it does disturb me that some people are taking the national anthem out of context in this regard. If you don't like the president, not standing up for the national anthem is not the answer. The national anthem was written on Fort McHenry in Baltimore as Francis Scott Key was watching a battle. It's to respect the folks that let us be free.
Yeah, I do wish we could have both.
That is the only.
I wish we had dissent without.
You know, I'm not. I understand the plight.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah.
I
understand
appreciate
their argument.
I appreciate the attempt to say something about it, speak out.
There are other ways to demonstrate against the man in charge or whatever, but to
and I don't know what they are.
The military. Sure. I don't either. I'm not going to pretend to.
This scene, we're actually seeing it on the big screen now with guys locking arms. I love the scene. Maybe if it just didn't happen with a knee at the, you know what I mean? Like maybe before.
Here's what upsets me though. The same people that are protesting in this manner celebrate touchdowns by acting like they're peeing on a fire hydrant.
Well, that was
That
was
so
absurd.
You know, come on.
You're New York Giants and Odell
well,
Beckham.
I can't. I cannot be an Odell Beckham fan. I can't do it.
You said he's become Reggie Jackson.
He is the Reggie Jackson of when the Yankees. You know, I just can. Good player, obviously, made great catches, but I cannot sit here as a football fan and root for this guy. I just can't do it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
All right. No. So Oklahoma and Baylor. Speaking of, I mean, they come out with a win. They're 4-0. This is 14 wins in a row. Lincoln Riley making no apologies about that after the game, saying a win is a win, and we're going to celebrate this thing. But by golly, that secondary was troubling.
Brutal.
And the offensive game plan, it went up and down. I mean, they figured out, you know, later in the game, let's run the ball against these guys. They have no answer. But then even at the end, when they could have finally put the nail in the coffin, they let Baylor, you know, come within 40 yards after an onside kick and winning this thing maybe.
I was a little confused at fans complaining that Sermon didn't play until the fourth quarter. Right. Abdul Adams broke the all-time record.
Went longer than you could ever go.
With 99-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
So you're going to take him out? Please.
Well, I do love what Sermon brings to the table.
That is great,
I really
but
do.
Adams brings something to the table. Flowers brings something to the table.
Yeah.
You know,
they needed that toughness though in the second half.
Well,
it was a good move. Riley does a good job of finding the hot hand and riding it.
But Sermon was fresh at the end.
That's right. That's true. Good point.
Adams was fresh in the first half.
Undervalued point.
What are you going to do? Take Adams out of the game after this run?
Yeah.
Look at this speed.
There he goes. You have some thoughts about Baker Mayfield and
well,
some of the smack he was talking there in Waco.
I don't know how Riley puts up with it.
Yeah.
I really don't. Hasn't he done enough damage with the Fayetteville thing and the smart aleck comments that he makes? He made a comment, according to Soonerscoop.com, before the game. Your daddy has come to town, and I need to spank you, referring to the Baylor players. And you don't think that they saw that in the locker room and inspired them to some degree? Then he gets called for a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, for talking some smack, and celebrates the way he does.
It's a good thing Badette got wide open.
Yeah.
But
the thing I said, sometimes it's cute. A couple times with Bedlam, but it feels like he's forcing it now.
You know what?
You brought up Brian Bosworth. Like
he's trying. It's being manufactured now.
Yeah, playing to a persona.
It's being manufactured now, and in my opinion, Riley needs to tell him enough already.
It's a bold take because his approval rating is pretty high at the moment.
I will say this.
Baker I'm talking about.
Officials are human beings, and they have different attitudes towards certain things.
Yeah, this won't be the last time he gets called for unsportsmanlike.
Mayfield, after what he pulled last year, getting to players' faces and this nonsense, they're going to keep an eye on him, and there are going to be some officials that take offense to his cockiness, and it's going to cost OU again. Didn't cost him in this game, but this game was way too close for comfort.
About that tackling by Baylor.
I
made the mistake of saying that he had some Wally Cleaver in him, and somebody corrected me and said, I think you may not know your Leave It to Beaver very well.
No,
Eddie Haskell. Eddie Haskell is what he's got. And I'll say this, just like he apologized after the flag plan at Ohio State, like he kind of knows, he's smart. He's a little too smart for his own good. And I'm with you at this point. Let's just play the game. He is a wonderful player, a marvelous player, and I think that you can bring that great energy without bringing some of this stuff that takes away from it.
I guess some people think cockiness is cute. I, for one, think it's nonsense, and I don't think it does. Say he needs to be like that to play the way he does. Baloney.
This is the Get Off My Lawn edition of the Rant. This is the Get Off My Lawn edition of the Rant. I don't understand it. I just don't. Why take the chance? Why can't you just play within yourself? Yeah.
I don't mind excitement. That's great. Jump up and down. Hug your teammates. Whatever it takes. But don't make comments before the game on your Twitter account. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because that's what you stand for all the time, and you rooted against Reggie Jackson back on your favorite team. I mean, I respect that coming from you because that's been consistent. They are back, so let's quickly. I know you don't want to go on and on about this. Melo, let's show you some video of Carmelo Anthony arriving in Oklahoma City. As they are wont to do, Thunder fans, they showed up and cheered him on today. So they got a new big three. They've added a 25-point per game for his career score, a 10-time All-Star. I'm not saying this makes him better than the Warriors, but it makes them better. No. And sending Cantor and McDermott off.
Does it make them better than San Antonio? Does it make them better than Houston?
I think yes. I hate to sound like a homer, but I really do think yes. Now, I will admit this. Anthony, George, Westbrook, I don't think that their skill sets mesh perfectly, just like Durant and Westbrook did not mesh perfectly. I think it'll be a lot like Durant and Westbrook, where there are some growing pains, there are some nights that it's maddening, but there will also be nights when it's just unbelievable to watch, breathtaking. And I think they got a good bit better for sure.
Well, Robertson just solidified the being in the starting five because he's the only one who can play defense now.
Well, George is a great defender. You're right. Westbrook, it just doesn't do it enough.
Melo was rated the second worst defensive player in the NBA last year.
He's not going to bring. No, you're right. That's. I'm interested to see when they stagger the lineups. How much time does Melo see on the second team where he can take almost all the shots he wants against second-team guys? He's going to be a matchup problem there. I assume that they'll use him a lot that way. It's going to be fascinating to watch. They added a multiple-time gold medalist, a 10-time All-Star. This is a guy with so much game, and at this point in his career, you would just assume he's ready to be a team-first guy and try, you know what I mean, try and actually go after a championship. This is a real opportunity for him to do that.
Well, I agree. I'm wondering, I don't think he'll be able to play throughout the season, or I think Donovan's going to have to really limit his minutes.
And you can. For him. I think you can now with George and Westbrook there.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it makes basketball that much more exciting for us. When
it's almost too exciting.
Well, before George came, it was dismal.
Yeah.
Then there was some hope.
That's right.
And now there is
a lot of hope.
Big hope.
There's probably more hope than there needs to be.
And I hope Anthony realizes what he's stepped into here in the fact that this is a fan base he's never played before in front of.
It's going to be different.
I mean, Knicks fans sit on their hands, and they just go to be seen. I guess it was a little rowdy in Denver when he was there.
Yeah, but not like this.
But not like this. This is a different animal.
He's never played on a team this good. He's never played on a team that has, let's say, conference championship series.
And he does
hopes like this one. I mean, made it one time in Denver.
And
but
he doesn't have to be
team.
the go-to guy. He doesn't have to be the scapegoat every time something goes wrong. So, overall, I wondered whether or not his health would hang in there, whether or not he could be a liability in that regard. The one thing is they did get rid of the pylon. Cantor is gone.
You can't make your jokes anymore.
I can't make fun of him anymore.
I said you'll just have to do it with your hometown team.
Knicks?
They open up with the Knicks.
Oh, so
how delicious is that?
That's good.
And their first game together right here in Tulsa in early October, first week of October. I believe October 2nd.
It doesn't look like Westbrook will play, though.
Yes, that's right. Injection in his knee, some inflammation. Right. Don't know what to make of that, but there is some depth there, and they think he'll be ready for the season. Right. So I don't know. We've heard that before. All right, that does it for the rant. Little subdued. The Get Off My Lawn edition. We had to burn the tapes last week because we were way too high on our teams edition. OU still 4-0 with the longest winning streak in the country, and OSU still has some good ball players. So let's just regroup, reconvene next week, and maybe we'll have a very different perspective. Hopefully we're back up next week.
Well, OU doesn't play, so we're all right on that department.
Yes, yeah. Their secondary is going to have a great week.
They're going to have a big week.
Giving up 0 yards.
Mike Stoops is probably the only coach who didn't celebrate any last night.
He definitely didn't celebrate. He definitely did not. Thanks, everybody. See you.